Alright, so here it is, part 2 of What If Female Deku Was Android 21. Now, I saw in the comments that one of you was worried that Izumi would be too overpowered. So I'm just going to say it right here, right now. She is going to be holding back a lot. The only people she will actually go full power on are the people she will train with and the people she knows are powerful enough to fight her. So people like Goku, Goten, Vegeta, Beerus, Whis, all those guys. They're the only ones who are capable of fighting her at her full power. So, if I remember correctly, we last left off when they were headed to UA to take the entrance exam. Give me a minute. Sorry about that. As they're flying to UA to take the entrance exam, they're currently flying at a cruising speed with Izumi and Goten discussing what they should do for the entrance exam. With Izumi, who we all know as Android 21, would explain that UA's entrance exam has two portions: a written assessment and a physical assessment. So, I believe during the physical assessment we should hold back, as Goten would look at her and think that she would say that she is right. The fact that they've made it this far, they've gone this strong, they shouldn't really go all out, because there will be people who will be far weaker than us. So it will be quite unfair if we just go all out during the exam. As they both look at each other, as Goten would say 5%, as Izumi would say 5%. Now, when I say that they're talking about the percentage, like I just said there, it will be how much of their full power they should use. So 5% would for them. Actually, no, not 1%. 1% for them would probably be about All Might's level of power. So their power level will only be at 1% will only be 354 instead of their usual power level. As they would get there, as they would land a couple kilometers away from UA, they would land in an alley. As Izumi and Goten would continue walking there, as Goten would ask why are they walking there instead of just flying the rest of the way, with Izumi saying, well, we don't want to reveal ourselves too early, now do we? Just merge into the crowd and you should be fine, Goten. As they would, like Izumi said, merge into the crowd and head into UA's entrance exam. Once they've gotten there, they hear President Mike explaining about the pointer robots, so like the 1-pointer, the 2-pointer, and the 3-pointer. When a blue-haired boy stands up and points out that there are actually four robots on this paper, and that if this is an oversight by UA, I am very disappointed. With President Mike stating that he was just about to get onto the 0-pointer, and that he should have been more patient, with Ida making a fool out of himself, and Izumi letting out a little bit of a snicker, along with Goten. As they would then go into the written portion of the test, with Izumi scoring the highest with 100%, and Goten scoring the second highest with a 98% because he got 2 questions wrong. With Izumi with them immediately getting their test results back, the written proportion of the test results back, with Izumi patting Goten on the back, as she would say, "It's alright, at least you passed the written portion. Now we'll just need to get past the physical portion." With Goten saying, "Yeah, she's right." With Goten asking, "So will you be transforming during this test?" With Izumi saying, "No, I don't think I will transform. Because whenever I transform, she will want to take over and do the fighting." As Goten would remember, "Oh yeah, right. Because last time she got out, when you transformed, you nearly destroyed an entire island." Now they were far away from everybody else, so they didn't hear this. With Izumi sighing and saying, "You're never gonna let that go, are you?" With Goten saying, "Do you know how much it cost Bulma to cover that up?" As Izumi saying, "Yes, I know, and I'm still trying to pay her off." As they would then get to the gate, with them just talking to each other and psyching each other up for them to do the physical portion. Hold on, give me a minute. With Ida walking up to Goten and grabbing him on the shoulder and saying that he shouldn't be talking to another trainee, that he's trying to distract her. As Izumi would look over to Ida and say, "Look, we're psyching each other up to do this exam, so if you could kindly walk off and mind your own business, that would be much pleasurable. Very pleasurable, very good of you." I can't speak today. As Ida, embarrassed again, would walk off. As President Mike would begin the countdown, as he'd say, "There are no countdowns in a real battle, in a real villain attack. Go, every one of you, go, go, go." Now, I'm going to say Gohan still does his Great Saiyaman stuff, and that he is a registered pro hero. So he does his Great Saiyaman stuff as well as his normal job. And he teaches at UA as a teacher. Actually, no, the Great Saiyaman thing is a full-time job in this universe. As Gohan would notice Goten and Izumi and think, "Please tell me they're holding back." As people would notice that he's actually quite afraid, as they would ask him what's wrong. As he would point to Izumi and Goten on the screen and say that those two are his siblings, and they are very powerful. And, for those of you who don't know what Goten looks like right now, he looks like how he did at the end of Dragon Ball Z. So he has the mullet going. With Izumi and Goten remaining in their base forms and at 1% of their full power, basically blitz all the robots that are in the area, but they're not using their ki. They're using their ki to enhance their physical abilities, but they're not using it to create blasts or anything like that. As they would rack up a considerable amount of points, both of them getting a total of 348 villain points, respectively. as Goten and Izumi would think that this should be good enough to pass, as they would both sit on top of a building, when they hear a cry for help. As they would look down and see a brown-haired girl trapped under some rubble, as the zero-pointer would come towards her. As Izumi would look over to Goten, and Goten would look over to Izumi, as Goten would give Izumi that look, as Izumi would say, "Fine, I'll do it," with her using a technique we all know Android 21 is good for, the candy beam move, where she then points her finger as the pink beam that we all know comes out of the tip of it, as the zero-pointer would be struck by it and turn into, I'll say it turns into a eclair. For those of you who don't know what an eclair is, it's basically a type of pastry that has cream in it. As she pulls it towards her and breaks it in half and shares it with Goten as they begin to eat it. With the timer then going off, as the entrance exam was over. With Izumi and Goten about to leave, the brown-haired girl would run up to them and thank them for rescuing her. As they'd say, "It's no problem, but what is her name?" As she would say that her name was Ochako Uraraka. As they'd say, "It's nice to meet you, Uraraka. My name is Son Izumi, and this is my brother, Son Goten." As Uraraka would shake their hands, as they would say that they have to head home because their mother is probably worrying about them. Sorry about the long pause, as Uraraka would say, "Okay, well, I guess I'll see you guys if you pass the entrance exam." And they'd say, "Sure, we'll see you next time. And see you later then." As they would both, as their auras would appear as they would then fly off. As they would then make it back to their house. With them not seeing how late it is, they would try to, because it is basically dark outside right now, as they would try to sneak in to the house with the house being completely dark. They tried to sneak back to their rooms with Chi-Chi turning on the light and swiveling around in her chair, as she'd say, "So where were you two all day?" As they'd panic and say that they were hanging out with Gohan then spinning around in his chair, saying, "Would you like to try that again?" As they would say, "Fine, after the UA entrance exam, we both went to train, we went for a spar, and it took a while." As Chi-Chi would then ask, "And where was the spar?" As Izumi would begin to stutter, as we then cut to a uninhabited world. Well, what was left of an uninhabited world is now an asteroid belt. As we then cut back to Izumi saying, "Don't worry about it." With Chi-Chi giving giving that glare of a mother who knows that you're lying, with Izumi's evil half in the back of her head, saying, "Oh, you done messed up now. You've messed up." As Izumi will say, "I'll just head to my room then." As Goten would say, "Yeah, we should probably get to our rooms." As they would then head to them. And and the next morning, Chi-Chi did punish them. She said that they couldn't train for a whole day, and they'd have to help with the farm for the entire day. Which they did, helping Goku out with the farm. Or Goku would have helped them with the farm, but he went off to train with Whis and Vegeta. With Goten and Izumi being angry at this, but they eventually get to their work done, the day's work done, as Chi-Chi would have asked them if they had learned their lesson, and they would have said yes. With immediately after that, their Gohan arriving at the house with their letters from UA, with them opening up their letters, as All Might would pop up, saying that Son Izumi and Son Goten, you have both taken first and second place in the entrance exams, and beating my record. As he would say everything else, as he would then say, "Welcome to your hero academia." With Goten and Izumi being happy that they made it in, and Chi-Chi being relieved that they made it in, as Goku is proud of them that they made it in, and so is Gohan. As Goku would say, we should celebrate with a feast. As they would do that, as we'll then cut over to the next couple weeks later, couple days, I mean, with Izumi and Goten just about to head to UA, with Chi-Chi telling them to be safe as they fly off. And that's where I'm going to end this part off. I do hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time with part 3 to this, hopefully.